This episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast is sponsored by the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. As a woman in the modern world, our hormones are taking a battering. They're impacted by the food we eat, the toxins we're exposed to, such as when we eat out of plastic takeaway containers, or even worse, reheat food in them. Please don't do this. If you're handling FPOS receipts, filling the car with fuel, eating non-organic produce that hasn't been washed effectively, plus so much more things add to our toxic load every day. Even though our bodies are designed to effectively manage toxins, they haven't evolved as quickly as our toxic world has, unfortunately. So our body does need support. Symptoms such as stubborn weight gain, fatigue, disrupted periods, irritability, and gut health issues can be a sign that you'd benefit from a gentle detox. And that's why I developed the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. This free guide has an abundance of information to get you started on your very own DIY detox. And if you'd like to upgrade to VIP, it's only $47 for a limited time. I used to sell this program for $247. The upgrade gives you the recipes, including plenty of plant-based options, the meal planner, the shopping list template, the video workshop, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more now. Take care of your hormones. They are a critical part of your health as a woman. Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast. This week, I'm going to talk about something that I haven't talked about before, and that is, it's very much, I guess, about mind games that we play, mindset, the way we talk to ourselves, often in ways that we would never talk to anybody else. So what I'm going to talk about, it's an often overlooked kind of aspect of any health journey, but particularly in perimenopause and menopause. I say menopause all the time. Perimenopause and menopause. An often overlooked aspect of this journey is the battle between self-shaming and self-compassion. Something that I think probably most of us at some time in our lives we've been guilty of talking to ourselves negatively, often without even realizing it. This self-shaming can derail our health goals. It can damage our self-esteem. It, oh my gosh, can be so damaging to talk to ourselves in a way that's negative. And so I wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit today, because I think it is a really important thing to get on top of. Sometimes it can be, the key to getting health into your body, eating the right foods, getting the movement that works well for your body. If we are self-shaming rather than having self-compassion, that's going to make a huge difference. So let's have a look at this a little bit more. So if we start basically with mindset, and mindset encompasses a whole bunch of different things. I'm talking a very specific type of mindset, very much around the self-talk. Having a mindset when you're approaching a hormone healing journey, which I guess when we're looking at perimenopause and menopause, that is really what it is. If we're approaching that journey with a critical and harsh attitude rather than a nurturing and supportive attitude, that can make a huge difference to the outcomes that you get, particularly if you have emotional responses that involve self-soothing with food, for example. If you're having a loving and compassionate approach to yourself and nurturing and supporting yourself, that is going to get you so much further in life than being critical towards yourself and harsh. Really look after yourself and your inner talk when it comes to that. When we are in that sort of headspace of being critical and harsh, it can really have an emotional impact. It increases stress. It increases anxiety. That can actually worsen our hormone imbalances. I'm sure you've heard me talk a lot about the impact of stress on our estrogen in particular, because it increases cortisol, that impacts our estrogen. So when you're talking to yourself in a way that's really negative, where you're having an attitude of criticism and harsh attitude, then that's really going to impact you on an emotional level. And, that often leads to giving up. It often leads to going, oh, well, I might as well, just sit and eat all the food, just sit around, not do any movement, not worry about anything, because you're feeling this emotional impact of that negative self-talk. So motivation is such an important part of anything in life, really, isn't it? If we can be motivated to make positive and sustainable changes rather than losing our motivation and giving up, we're going to have a way better outcome on our health, on our well-being, on how we move through life. So very, very important. So really avoid using negative self-talk, blaming, punitive language towards yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness, with understanding, with forgiveness. I find this particularly because, as you know, I work a lot in weight loss, and particularly in the context of peri and menopause, it can be really challenging sometimes. And I find a lot of women really blame themselves, really have a fairly harsh view on their own behaviors that potentially have led to this. And what I'm saying to you is there is nothing good that's going to come from that. And it's just completely unnecessary to do it. Speak to yourself with kindness, with understanding, with forgiveness. It makes a huge difference to your whole outlook and how you feel about yourself, and therefore how you will respect your body and how you will move forward in a way that is actually treating your body with the utmost respect and care. Another part of this is your response to setbacks. So seeing a setback as being like a personal failure, that can really derail your progress, rather than viewing a setback, for example, as an opportunity to learn and grow. And I see this a lot again with food when people are, wanting to follow a personalized plan, for example, which is probably, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that that's the kind of work I do, is personalized nutrition plans. And if someone, goes off the rails a little bit and doesn't follow that plan and then really beat themselves up about it, that's not what I'm about. And it's not what I feel like anyone should be about. It's, everyone is doing the best that they can. So if you go off the rails, if you made yourself, particularly at this time of year, New Year's resolutions, often by the end of January, a lot of those New Year's resolutions have fallen by the wayside. Rather than beating yourself up about it, just move on. Just forgive yourself and move on. Be kind to yourself. Learn. Okay, why did I give up? Why did I stop? Whatever it was that your resolution was, why did I stop? What is there I can learn from this? How can I set myself up for success rather than failure next time? So really looking at any setback you have, rather than beating yourself, go, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I do this better? How can I do this differently? Body image is another one I think that comes into this. So if you're speaking to yourself negatively, you can really foster a negative body image. And that can lead to really unhealthy behaviors and self-sabotage. If you can promote a healthy, respectful relationship with your body and love your body, love what your body can do for you, where it takes you in life, no matter what body you're in, it makes a massive difference to your ability to reach your health, your well-being, your weight loss, your hormone healing journey, your goals. So I would totally recommend that you again, just treat yourself with the utmost respect, love, kindness, and care. I also wanted to talk in this context about behavioral change, because when you're talking to yourself negatively, or you're treating yourself with not so much with kindness, with self-shaming rather than self-compassion, that can often result in extreme, unsustainable changes in lifestyle that can lead to burnout, can lead to giving up, can lead to self-sabotage. When you're treating yourself with self-compassion, then you're making changes that are sustainable, that support you, that make you feel good, not make you feel deprived. So really keep that in mind when you are making any sort of changes to your lifestyle, is how can I do this with a sense of compassion and kindness towards myself? Makes a huge difference, believe me, to your mindset. And this can have a really big impact on your long-term success, because let's face it, when we go into any sort of health journey or weight loss journey, we want those benefits that you're receiving to be maintained and be long-term success. You don't, go make these changes to your lifestyle to then just go back to how you were before, because you make the changes for a reason, right? You make the changes because you want to be in a different place, whether that's, physically, whether that's emotionally, whether that's, mentally. So you want that long-term success. You want to be more likely to sustain the changes that you've made, the healthy habits that you've built. So having self-compassion and forgiveness is going to take you a long, long way towards keeping that maintenance of what you've achieved. I would also really highly recommend, when you're going on this journey, when you're thinking about things like self-compassion versus self-shaming, is to build a good social support around you, a cheer squad, friends, whether it's friends or family or, people in the online community. Sometimes they can actually be fantastic supports to you, even though you may never have met them, because they don't have any baggage. They don't have any competitiveness. There's nothing there that's actually going to them wanting to sabotage you. So if you can build a strong, empathetic community or strong, empathetic relationships with others, that will really help in terms of building your ability to have self-compassion versus shaming and self-shaming. And we know that when you choose self-compassion over shaming, you create a positive, supportive environment for your hormone healing journey, for your weight loss journey, for any sort of health and well-being journey. And that leads to better outcomes for you, overall well-being for you as well. So this was just a short and sweet episode today. I wanted to get into something a little different to perhaps the more scientific stuff that I often talk about. There is absolutely science behind what I'm talking about today, but it's just a little bit softer. And I think that's really important, particularly for women, women in perimenopause and menopause, particularly women who are wanting to make changes to their lifestyle to make them feel better, to make them their bodies work more effectively. I think it's really important to not just look at, well, what should I be eating? Well, how often should I be moving my body? How much water should I be drinking? Sure, that's all important. But if you're going into that, just constantly tearing yourself down, constantly just saying nasty things to yourself, and we've all done it, right? I mean, I know I used to do it quite a lot. I've become much more aware of it, but I still catch myself occasionally talking to myself in a way that I would never speak to anybody else. So I think it's something that for many women, it's just a constant work in progress, and it's easy to make gains, which is great. And you can just do it, minute by minute, hour by hour. If you catch yourself talking to yourself and go, oh, I'm so stupid. Oh, why did I do that? Stop it. Just turn it around. What can I learn from this? Make it into an experience that is going to support you rather than bring you down. You need to be your own best friend, your own support, and also bring in others as well as it kind of becomes clear to you who those people are going to be. So I hope talking about something like this has been helpful. I think sometimes it seems like a really simple thing, but it can be really hard for people to do. And I think there are many ways you can do to help cultivate self-compassion. And one that I really love, and I learned this as a yoga teacher, and I employ it a lot with my clients. And I think it's just a very simple exercise that I'm going to share with you before we sign off the pod today. And that is a little, it's almost like a mantra, I guess. It's not really, it's more of a self-love exercise, actually, I'd say. But what I recommend is that you, at some point in the day, either once or twice a day, generally I recommend doing it first thing in the morning or at night before you go to bed, is to stand in front of the mirror, looking at yourself in the eyes, putting your hand on your heart, really grounding into your feet so you're really feeling grounded into the earth. And just take a deep breath in and out and keep looking at yourself and just say 3 times, I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. That is, you'd be surprised looking at yourself in the mirror, how powerful that can be. I have many women that I've been through this exercise with, they can't get through 3 times without crying. But just the more you do it, and you can use another mantra to use is rather than I love and accept is I love and respect. I find I love and respect myself is also a very powerful one. So if this is something you think you might kind of benefit from, I really feel like so simple, right? It's free. You can do it in the privacy of your own home. I really recommend doing this. Try it once a day, even more powerful if you do it twice a day. And let me know how you go. You can find me on the I'm going to say it every week. I reckon I'm going to be complaining about these dots at the.perimenopause.path on Instagram, or just email me hello@susiegarden.com. I'd love to see how you got with this. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. I will be back next Tuesday with some fresh content. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, I would love it if you could write me a 5-star review. It makes me so happy. Also, make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts, or the follow button if you're on Spotify, so that you can get each new episode delivered to you every week. If you like free stuff, then head to the show notes and click the link to receive my free Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for perimenopausal women. Now, this will only be available until the end of January 2025, so be quick. If you'd like to continue the discussion we've had today, head over to Instagram and DM me or follow me at the Perimenopause Path. There's a little dot between each word, just to make it a little bit more complicated, but I would love to connect with you over there.